All right, we are back on the Silver and Blue Huddle, episode number 6. You thought we was going somewhere? We are back. We lost,
Yes.
but we back. Episode number 6, man. Silver and Blue, Richblkman, so amazing, New Jersey, man. How you been, man? We took a week off because we was on a bye, but we back. We're here to talk Cowboys, man. So what's up, man? How's
Yeah.
everything been going with you?
Yeah.
How's the bye
We had
week?
we had an extra goodbye, right? And
Right.
then unfortunately, I got a little under the weather, so I wanted to say anybody that likes to listen to us all the time. I live in Jersey, so we get a lot of change of weather over here.
Hmm.
I had to take a couple of medication a little bit, and we back though. And yeah, man, we're about to talk about this epic matchup, but division matchup between the Dallas Cowboys and the Eagles this
Right.
past Sunday, which was a 4:25 Eastern Standard Time kickoff. And I mean, I had my beer ready just like I do now.
Yep.
And I mean, what do you feel, Rich? I got to go to you first, man. When it comes to first reactions, how do you feel about our boys?
Surprisingly, like my first impression of the Cowboys Eagles game after the fact is I'm not even mad. I'm not even sad. I'm not like about to throw anything. I'm happy that the Cowboys went and competed. Like that is, I can't ask for anything more from my team to go out and compete and be in position to win. And the Eagles and Cowboys, like we had them and we let them off the hook. But as a fan, first impression, like I'm not even mad about the Cowboys loss, man. We good. We still going to Super Bowl. We good. Trust me, Cowboy Nation. We good. We are good.
You sound so confident. It's like you're like a quiet confidence about you right now, Rich.
Right.
But like, listen, I'm gonna piggyback a little bit on what Rich said. Like, I am. I'm proud of the team. There wasn't look like there was a big gap, chat. You know what I mean? Like, there wasn't a big one. It wasn't like the Eagles are up here and we're down here. It was pretty even. I mean, I kind of got to say too. I feel like the Cowboys were a better total overall team that day. It's just, things happened throughout the course of the game, which we're going to get into, that, changed the way that the momentum of that game went. You know what I'm saying? Down from
Right.
the first drive that the Eagles had, which, of course they went down the field and they drove and we had a 3-and-out. I get that. But like the game went up and down and, it came right down to the end, came down to a few yards and a
Right.
couple of decision making, which we're going to go in. But first impression is I can't wait until the next matchup already because this gave me such excitement when it came to, okay, we have a chance to possibly steal this division in the later end of the year.
Right. And I totally agree with you as well. Like normally they say what the best team always come down and win, but in this case here, the best team did not win on Sunday, and that's okay because the Eagles needed that win more than the Cowboys needed it because the Eagles stretch of games is the Bills, the 49ers, and the Chiefs. They ain't gonna win all three of those games. They gonna lose like two or three of those games, and that's gonna put the Cowboys right back at the top of the division, the top of the conference, and that's all that we need to do going back into our matchup in December in a few weeks. So it ain't gonna be easy
Yep.
peasy for the Eagles over the next couple of weeks, man. They mess around and pull another 49er. You know what happened to them boys after they played us? They gonna be in trouble. They mess around and lose against those next three opponents that they got. But the Cowboys are in good position, man. Trust me, we're not panicking yet. As long as we do what we need to do over the next course of 3 to 4 games, we're gonna be right back at the top of the division by the time we play the Eagles again. And what week? I forgot what week it's in, but it's back in December. But trust me, it's not over, Eagles. It's not over. Okay, it's not.
We will see you guys again. And the difference is it's going to be in our house.
Right.
So we don't got to worry about no cold weather, if it's snowing, if it's cold, if it's windy. You got to come in our house and we gonna ball out and see
Right.
who got the better speed.
And that same
And,
checks that the Eagles wrote to the referees in Philly, Jerry Money long. Jerry money is going to like bounce. So those referees are going to get paid in dollars, baby. So those same calls that y'all got,
Mhm.
we're going to get them times two because Jerry going to pay way more than what y'all paid him in Philadelphia.
and for the Eagles fans out there, before we get down to the nitty gritty, we start talking about stats. Look, take this number one win. Okay, you got your first win against us this year. You feel you got a nice, comfortable lead in the division. You feel like the rest of the division's weak. Okay, I'll give you a little clap. But guess what? When we play again, we're probably gonna win. And then guess what? I have enough confidence that we're probably gonna see you guys again for a third time.
in the first
So
week of the playoffs.
I can't wait. So this is not over yet. What do they like to say? Best out of 3? We'll see.
Absolutely, man. So let's jump right into the most important aspects of the game, which was the quarterbacks. Let's talk
The
about
quarterback.
Dak and Jalen Hurts, man. Let me
Yeah.
just go over some stats real
Yeah.
quick. Dak Prescott was 374 for 3 touchdowns. Jalen Hurts was 207 for 2 TDs. And in my personal opinion, Dak Prescott outplayed Jalen Hurts by a mile. Like, there was no comparison between the two. Like, if you took their names off the jersey and like just was going off stats, Dak Prescott beats him easily. Like, there's no comparison. Like, so we need to stop saying that Jalen is better than Dak Prescott, because numbers don't lie. Men lie, women lie, but numbers don't. Okay, and Dak Prescott outplayed Jalen Hurts by a mile. No comparison.
100%. Like, and as a Cowboys fan, I'm going to look right into the camera and look, hey, Cowboy Nation, did Dak do enough? Did Dak do enough for us as Cowboy Nation fans to say that Dak is still our guy? Did he do enough? Did he put 374 yards up with no interceptions, 3 touchdowns? And, for those fantasy people out there, I think it was like 33 or 34 fantasy points out there for your fantasy lovers out there. Did Dak do enough for Cowboy Nation to say that Dak is still our guy? Or did he not do enough? And in crucial decision making, which we're going to get into, in certain situations where we could have got a touchdown.
Right.
Did Dak do enough?
Watching ESPN the very next day, that Monday morning, the narrative around Dak Prescott was actually shocking. They actually gave Dak Prescott praise for once.
A lot of people did.
In like weeks. They did not tear that down. They did not say, hey, this L is on Dak. Like, they actually gave him praise. I had to check the channel and see what exactly I was watching, because we had Stephen A. Smith saying, oh, Dak Prescott played well. Dak Prescott balled out. Like, for once, he had no reason to blame Dak Prescott for this loss. And I was impressed with Dak Prescott as well. Like, he was balling out, didn't turn over the ball, didn't fumble the ball. He took some sacks that he probably shouldn't have. But overall, I was impressed with Dak, and it had me thinking like, hey, he might be our franchise quarterback. He might be worth that extension that he's due in a couple of weeks. So he played pretty well, man. If he continues to play like that every single week, ball out on the passing yards, no turnovers, no fumbles, don't put the team in bad positions, like, he could really be that guy and really continue to take us to the playoffs and beyond, and really earn that contract extension that he's going to get at the end of the year. But I was impressed with Dak. Like, he had me rethinking him. I'm like, bro, like, you balling out, bro.
I will agree that he did do well. He didn't do that. He protected the ball, didn't turn the ball over. But my only critique on him, what I would say, Rich, is that he didn't get aggressive in certain positions. And I know people are gonna say, "Oh, well, Mike, he, so amazing. He should have, he made this read or he missed that read." I get the reads part. I'm never thinking Dak is gonna make the right read. All right, I already came to a conclusion on that. My thing is a little bit of effort. Yes, as these weeks have gone on, I said, "Hey, I want to see you run a little bit more. Stop pump faking and go. Like, just go and run." And there was a couple glimpses where he ran for a first down. He hustled, blah blah blah, fought for those yards. But when he ran for that 2-point conversion, Dak, I need you to lower that shoulder and just dive into that pylon. He got a little too cute. I feel like he got a little too fancy. And Dak, I don't know if it's something that in your mind, like, you don't want to get injured again, or you don't you have like this little paranoia in your head. You got to get that out of your head, because if you want to be hoisting up the Super Bowl trophy at the end of the year, it needs to be off of your back, where you're diving in the end zone. Right. You're fighting for yards. You're basically got to put your body a little bit at risk. So I'm not saying, go out there and get hurt, but I got to see a little bit of effort where it's like, it's you and a defender.
Right.
And you got to sometimes just lower that shoulder and just go. Like, I'm not talking about you're getting hit by Ray Lewis. These are D-backs. And Dak, some of these times I'm just like, man, you got to lower that shoulder and go. So that's the only critique I would say.
Right.
It's just that I want to see that little bit of, like, when he is about to run, just go. Don't twinkle toe it. Just go.
Right. I mean, honestly, I am surprised that he continues to run the ball over the last couple of weeks, because coming into the season, Dak Prescott would take sack after sack after sack. But lately, the last couple of weeks, Dak Vic has showed up every single game, and I love it. So Maybe it's just like a comfort level as he continues to go on, the season goes on. Maybe he will lower that shoulder and try to take that hit
So
and
you're
try to
saying
like
it's more
bust
of a
into the end
like
zone.
a confidence, like a
I
self-confidence thing, you think? Like he think it's like kind of building it back up
I
ever
believe
since his
so.
injury?
Like we've seen
Okay.
him run a lot more over the last 2 to 3 weeks, more than we've seen in the last season or whatever, like the last year and a
Yeah, when he
half.
came back.
So I'm happy to see him run and get out of situations because that is extending plays. So we saw again another
Mhm.
week where he's using his legs and extending plays and it's making things happen down the field and keeping the Cowboys into the game versus just sitting back trying to make a read and go through his progressions and take a sack. Like Dak getting out of the pocket, Dak using his legs is the best thing I see for him in the last couple of weeks, and it's really going to take the Cowboys far if he continues to use his legs. I'm just going to call him Dak Vic, Dakota Vic, baby. I
Dakota
love it,
Vic.
and I want to see more of it every single week.
But there's one thing that Dakota Vic cannot outrun, and it was those flags. We gotta talk about them flags, Rich. And I'm
Flag,
talking about on both sides of the
you
ball.
come out and it's a flag. You know, you hike the ball and it's
Flag
a
on
flag.
everything.
Like
I never,
you drink some water,
hey
it's a
Rich,
flag. Like
I never knew you could throw the ball out of bounds and still get called for a pass interference. I didn't
The
know.
most frustrating flag that I had that I seen the entire game exactly was that one that you're talking about. Jalen Hurts had already decided to throw the ball out of bounds. So AJ Brown had already given up on the route. Stephon Gilmore wasn't even guarding him no more. So how do you throw a flag? How? Pass interference at that. Like, what? The ball was going out of bounds. It was uncatchable and going out of bounds. Jalen Hurts had already made the decision to throw the ball out of bounds, bro. How do you throw a flag there? Another flag that I want to talk about is also the hands to the face. Referees threw the flag, hands to the face. They pick up the flag. NFL, since when do you start picking up flags for hand to the face? When? Since when? And I think what really made it so bad was that was a call that a referee made.
Yeah,
There's no flag for hand to the face. What?
let's
Like I
pick
would
the
have been
flag up.
okay if you just said something like illegal man downfield or something like that. But hands to the face is a pretty big deal in the NFL. Like it's a pretty big penalty when that comes around and you pick it up. Interesting. Okay.
No, there's a lot of flags. Like I said, I know the Eagles got some and we got some. It's just like, just in general, like, I'm just gonna go like to like, Parsons getting held when Jalen Hurts went to go scramble. Like,
That was a
there were
big
just
one.
little things here. That was a big one.
That was a
But there was
big
like
one.
little things here and there that just like I'm like, come on, man. Like, and then like they started just throwing flags. I kind of feel like the referees were throwing flags to kind of balance out the game too, because I feel
But
like they knew
right.
that they messed up.
Well, I will say that a lot of people going to watch the show and they're going to be like, yo, flags on both sides. And they're going to point to, hey, the Cowboys got a free 50 yards at the end of the game on that last drive. When we look
Of
at those
course.
plays, though, those plays at the end of the game when the Cowboys had the ball driving down the field, the first one was pass interference. I don't think any football fan can say that that was not pass interference because it totally was. The second
Mhm.
flag was roughing the passer when the Eagles defender just basically just knocked down Dak after he had already like threw the ball
Yeah, he
15
had
yards on
straight
that.
pushed them.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
pushed him. He knew he pushed him
yeah,
because he tried to help him up. So that is two
yeah,
flags right there that was like totally legit, no phantom, nothing like that. Totally
yeah.
legit. That put the Cowboys in a great position. So I don't see where the flags was being even out at all. Like especially on that last drive, those was legit flags. Like the ones that hurt the Cowboys that went into the Eagles' favor, like they happen at critical moments, like phantom type calls or non calls, and it has totally killed the Eagles' momentum. I mean, it killed the Cowboys' momentum because I think on one particular drive, the Eagles scored on that drive because they was assisted by three flags on that drive.
Yeah,
Like
get
without
down.
those
Yeah,
flags, they wouldn't even been downfield. Like come on, Eagle fans, keep it real, keep it 100.
yeah. Because if that pass interference call don't get called on Gilmore, if it doesn't get called on Gilmore,
Mm-hmm.
then that's like turnover on downs. So
Right,
you know what I mean? Like that, it's like there's so many situations in that game, but the score was close enough to where it could have literally went either way too as well.
right.
I mean, even defensively, I mean, like I think what we picked up the stats before, like AJ Brown and their killer receivers, they really got kind of locked down. We held them. I mean, what is that? Devontae Smith. He did get that one play where he kind of got all hyped up and touchdown
That
this
was a
and blah
push
blah blah.
off. That wasn't
Yeah,
called.
yeah, exactly. And it's like, yeah, all right, I'll give you that, but they really didn't. Like, CD Lamb had his way. CD Lamb went, I think, 16 targets, 11 receptions,
Mhm.
191 yards. And I'm looking at, and then even Jake Ferguson, I'm looking at it now too. 7 receptions for 91 yards and a touchdown. And shout out to Turpin, our boy
Right.
Turpin, the punt returner. I mean, 48 yards on that one punt, on one kick return,
Right.
and then the 5 yard touchdown in the red zone. And shout out to special teams. Shout outs to the defense for slowing down a little bit. I mean, I will say the worst that our defense looked was the first drive, where the
Right.
Eagles went straight down the field and they scored their first touchdown. That's
Right.
where I was like, oh, like what's going on here? Where's our pass rush? Blah blah blah.
Yep.
Now I got a question on defense before we start getting into like the next topic. Is
Yeah.
like, did you like what they did with Micah Parsons? Because I feel like what they did with Micah Parsons was they tried to like pass rush him, but then also play regular linebacker too at the same time. And again, I feel like that was a Dan Quinn move. Like I feel like that was his way of kind of like trying to make him like a hybrid
Right.
linebacker pass rusher. Do you feel like that should be Parsons' future, or should he just be only pass rush?
I think he should continue to be a hybrid between like standing up linebacking and also being on the D line. Like I think they need to continue to mix it up because I think when he lines up as a linebacker spot in the middle to go against the center, like that's like a dead giveaway that he's rushing. So pretty much the middle of the field is going to be wide open because he's not going to
Yeah.
drop back into coverage or nothing like that. I think they need
Yeah, I
to
haven't seen him do that yet.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think they need to continue to mix it up and put him on the D line and then stand him up. Or like, I don't think he got any reps on the D line at all. I don't think I ever saw him coming off the edge. I always saw him like standing up. But I think they need to like do a mixture of both depending on the situation because there was times where Jalen Hurts got outside to contain, and I think if Michael Parsons was there, that wouldn't have been the case. Or if Michael Parsons was collapsing on Jalen Hurts from being on the outside on the inside like that, it probably Jalen Hurts probably would have got sacked a little bit more because I think if you remember the one time where they hit Jalen Hurts' knee, I think Michael Parsons was coming in from the outside from what I
Yeah.
from what I
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
remember.
Yeah.
So he put a lot of him up against those right tackles, man, because he wasn't going to beat Jason Kelsey. Jason Kelsey be holding like a mug, so
Listen, end of the day, I
he's a
think we should have won
habitual
that
holder.
game. Yeah, I mean, end of the day, I think we should have won that game. I mean, football is all about inches and
Right,
angles. So, listen, Eagles got us the first time. We're still going to see them again for the rematch, and
right,
we're probably going to see them again in the playoffs. So, this is
right.
not at all. This is a 12-round fight. I feel like we're only in the first 3 rounds, and I honestly believe this is like just the beginning of the rivalry
Right.
of this season between us and the Eagles.
Yeah, and I totally agree that this was a very winnable game. The Cowboys should have pulled it off. They was in the red zone like 4 or 5 times, come out with no points, and they got to fix that. Like that's been the narrative all year long that once the Cowboys get in the red zone, they have a hard time scoring. Like I don't know why Mike McCarthy insists on going 5 wide in the red zone. Like, bro, like what are we doing here? Like unless you're running like a quarterback draw or something like that, which we know never works. Why are you going 5 wide? And I think that's where the Cowboys made a mistake of either one, letting Zeke go and not replacing him or not trading for like Derrick Henry or something like that because we need that power back. Or they could just run Rico. Like, where's
Mhm.
Rico?
Well,
Rico.
the one thing, and I think that might have been like again maybe a game plan issue
Mm,
because maybe they just thought, and I'm just going off of like coaching, right? Maybe they thought, damn, their front seven is really that tough, so
mm,
we really can't run downhill on them. Like maybe they were that afraid. Like again, I don't know. This is all in coaching,
right,
but I would have loved to see at least one time we get into like a heavy set, put our fullback in and just kind of try to run downhill with Pollard and see or Rico, like you said, and
right,
try to see if we could just kind of push it right in the end zone and fight it in there. But we really didn't get that chance to see that. And it might have just been a coaching thing. It might have just
right,
been, hey, their front seven is stronger than ours, so we're not even going to test it.
right,
Because I feel like we didn't get like we got fancy during the drives, but we didn't get fancy in the red zone. It got really vanilla in the red zone.
right. And I get it. Going into the game and seeing how they came out from the first possession all the way to the end of the game, their whole game plan was to pass. And looking at the Eagles and who they got in their secondary, I totally get it because the Eagles secondary is weak. The week before, they
Yeah.
gave up 300 plus yards to Sam Howell to the Washington
Mm-hmm.
Commanders. And then I
Yep.
think a few games before that, somebody else torched their secondary. So we all know the weaknesses of the Philadelphia Eagles defense, and it's that freaking secondary because they
Yeah.
don't know
Don't
what
throw
they're
the
doing
sleigh.
back there. Like,
As
actually,
long as you avoid sleigh, you're
Slay is
good.
kind of a liability along with
Mm-hmm.
Bradbury. So the secondary is kind of weak. I mean, they did add Kevin Byard as well because even he got beat doing some plays too. So the
They did.
secondary is a weakest part, even like with Reed and all that. But teams are going after the Eagles defense in the secondary, so they're coming out straight passing. So I get the game plan, but like you said, in the red zone, we have to be able to run the ball, man. We have to be able to like pound it in, like get in a power set, like you said, run a fullback dive, maybe run like a power running back, a
It's
power
almost like
play
a
or something.
test
But
too, like just
yeah,
to test it out. It's like I get it. Like some people like, well, Mike, that might be too obvious, and other good defenses are gonna crash down on it. Okay, it is what it is, but at least try it. At
right.
least try it. At least as a fan, we want to see it. We want to see y'all try to go downhill on first or second down, and then hey, if you got the cute play on third down, then go for the cute play on third down
Right.
where you got some rub routes or something like
Well,
that.
look at the
But
Eagles offense though. Like looking at their game plan and looking how they play, they throw short routes until they get into like 3rd and 2 or 3rd and 5, and then they run the ball and then they do the push
mhm,
tush. So I mean, the offense is very kindergartenish. It's like it's very
yeah,
kiddish. Like they're not doing
yeah,
anything special. They're not throwing it over the top. They throwing intermediate routes, short routes to get them
yep,
into like a 2nd and 5 or 2nd and 2nd, and then they run the ball, get into like a 3rd and 3, maybe run the ball again, and then get into that 4th and inches or that 4th and 1, and then they push tush all the way down the field. Like the Eagles don't have like quick drives. Like they're not throwing it over the top. They just taking everything underneath and going short like that to get them into that touch push situation. But the Cowboys got to get more creative in the red zone. They got to be able to run the ball, put Rico in there, run either jet sweeps or something. But you cannot go 5 wide. Like you're gonna be thrown into a zone. Like that makes zero
and
sense.
now And now we are 1-1 in the division, and we still got to get some more wins in the division,
Mm-hmm.
and that starts again next week.
Yep.
Next week we got the G-Men,
Without
and I
Daniel
like saying it
Jones.
like that because that's I know. I think they're gonna put in Tommy or Tommy DeVito or Danny DeVito, so whatever whatever
Right.
it is. I think it's Tommy DeVito. Danny DeVito's the actor. Um, so just give you guys a little background about this DeVito guy. So he's from Cedar Grove, New Jersey. He played for the prestigious Don Bosco Prep
Mm-hmm.
High School, which is like one of the best high schools to play for in New Jersey over here. And he won a state championship. So, and he went to Syracuse University. So he got a little bit of a resume on him. He's gonna have some local fans. But
Oh my
does
god.
DeVito have enough to defeat Micah Parsons and the boys?
Is this his first start?
Yeah.
And it's in Dallas on the road.
Imagine that.
Wow.
Imagine that. You gotta wait. Yeah, it's on the road. It's at the Giant. Is that MetLife, right?
No, it
I
should
think
be in Dallas. We remember
it's in
we
Dallas.
spanked them
Okay, yeah,
in week one
yeah.
on
Oh
nine
yeah, you're right.
11.
It's the other.
Wait.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah,
other
the
way around.
Giants.
Yeah. Because the first game of the season was over here in MetLife, and for him to have to go to Cowboy Stadium, and you got to go on your first start. That's crazy.
Right. Is he mobile? I
I
don't
feel.
know nothing about him. Never heard of him. Is he
I
not
mean, he
immobile,
did.
right?
I mean, when he went in, he did a little. When I saw him play over here, like he did a little. He did a little quarterback option in the red zone. He got in there, and the whole crowd went crazy. But that was like that was in the Giants Jets game though.
Oh,
Like
so
we ain't no Jets.
right. So he took over for Daniel Jones, right? Who's actually out for the season. Like just to pivot, like
Yeah,
on talk about that for a minute. Like there's been a lot of ACL injuries in NFL this year.
yeah.
Like, do you think the field conditions is contributing to that, or is it just they not hitting the weight room, they not drinking their milk? Like, what's up with
I
that?
mean, the first one, like I would agree. Like the field conditions is like one of the biggest issues, right? People always they bring that up first because like the joints, ankles, knees, hips, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you take the field conditions out, you got to realize the ACL, and this is right up my alley too. I know about the body. The ACL is the crucial ligament, right? The
Right.
ACL, right? It's on right there. MCL is the medial, right? Those ligaments are very, very easily to get torn. And that's for anything. You could be a non-athlete and tear those things, right? If they're not strong enough. So I don't think there's any other way of like slowing those injuries down from happening. The only way is either genetics or like you said, you got to hit the weight room. You got to do a lot of flexibility stuff because the cartilage and certain cartilages that you don't have a blood source going to these joints sometimes.
Right.
You might have good ligaments going in and muscle fibers, but once you get close to those joints and the bones, now you got real thin cartilage and you got really soft tissue. So one little juke or something like that. Now, don't get me wrong. We have great medicines now, great modern medicine. We have great surgeries that get people in rehab, that get people back. But to answer the question is that I think guys need to focus more on recovery, getting stronger, and flexibility.
Okay.
And I mean, I know they do that already, but I mean, that's really the case. They really got to do those things. And then genetics comes into a play too. Because you got to realize some of these players, Rich, they've been playing football their whole life. So it's like progressively since they've been a little kid or since high school, they've been tearing muscle fibers their whole life. So it only takes one move, one juke, one this, one that,
Right.
one wrong step, and that ligament is twisted or it gets pulled or something like that, and hamstrings, everything. It's tough. But I think I think the ACLs and the oh my God, I just forgot Aaron Rodgers with the with the whole Achilles tendon. I know people that have gotten that surgery before, and everybody's saying the same thing. There's no way he comes back in time.
Right.
And and now he's trying to break a record over there and try to be Mr. Miracle Man. He's trying to be Mr. I can do this as long as the Jets make it to the playoffs. I can do this. So it's like and Cowboys are just we're phenomenal with people with injuries. I don't know what it is. We must Jerry must have the president on speed dial or something because whoever we get heals up. I don't know what it is that Jerry has.
And I think the Jets got humbled last night anyway because they was talking about playoffs before they played the Chargers, and then look at them, they go out and get spanked. So I think we can not talk about the Jets being in the playoffs and Aaron Rodgers coming back for the playoffs because I don't think that's going to happen.
And you know what? I'm just going to go straight to it. I'm going to go right to my prediction. I think for the Giants game, I think this is Cowboys going to stamp their foot down. I'm going to say I want to go with like a 28-3.
Wow.
28-7.
I mean, I can see that as well. It's not like a game that I can really get up for or even to make content about because I'm expecting the Cowboys to dominate. Like I'm expecting the game to be over at halftime or something like that. I'm gonna probably be watching Redzone and probably be watching some other teams because that's not going to be a game that I'm going to watch because I'm fully expecting the Cowboys to dominate the New York Football freaking Giants. Okay.
But remember, we said this, Rich, and we got to record this part. We said this against the Cardinals.
You're right.
And we felt
you're right.
very salty the next podcast.
You're right.
So I'm going to be fingers will be crossed for the Giants game. And I live in Jersey.
Right.
I don't want to hear no New York radio that the Cowboys got upset by Tony or Tommy DeVito, whatever his damn name is. So go Cowboys.
That can't happen at all, man. We can't have a letdown against the Giants. Maybe against Seattle or something like that, but not against the freaking Giants because looking at the Cowboys schedule, we got the Giants, we got the Panthers, and then I think we have the Eagles after that. So we could win those 3 games. And I think I said a few weeks ago that in this stretch of the Rams, Eagles, Giants, and Panthers, I said the Cowboys can either go 4-0 or they can go 3-1. Now it's looking like it's going to be 3-1, and I think that we're still going to be in great position for the division and for the top seed in the NFC. So don't worry, Cowboy Nation, we good.
Remember, we do have the Thanksgiving game.
Who we play?
Thanksgiving game is the Commanders.
Who just traded away their defensive players? Okay. Okay.
Talk about a team folding it up. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
They have.
Is there a salary cap in the NFL? How is all these teams able to afford all these players, man?
No, Can you
Chase,
even name? And I would really need somebody. I love football. I can't even name you the 2 starting defensive ends now for Washington.
not the ends, but the D tackle I think is Deron
Jonathan
Payne because I think
and
we
and,
wanted
and
him.
Jonathan Allen, right? I think
Hmm.
Jonathan Allen. I think that's it
Yeah,
from Temple.
yeah.
I can't even name you who the other 2 pass rushers are
So as
anymore.
long as we contain Sam Howell, because Eric Benanami or whatever his name is from the Chiefs, like his offense, like his style, the way he calls plays, it's pretty amazing, I must say. Because Sam Howell is throwing for like 300 yards a game, bro.
Oh, but Sam Howell will be like throwing off his back foot and like a miracle thrower. I'm like, where are you throwing it? And like
Yeah.
McLaurin catches it. I'm like,
Hey, hey. If Mike McCarthy had that type of creativity, then we might be okay. Because
oh my god.
Eric at least be
No,
putting people in motion.
no, but I'm going into this next game happy. Get the win. We can go 2-1 in the division, and that's what we need. Just get that division matchup game.
Right.
Going to Thanksgiving, like I said, going through those Thanksgiving weeks, and I can't wait. I'm excited.
And like I don't think we have to put too much stock into the Cowboys beating the Eagles in the division type standings. Like the Eagles can really lose against the Commanders or the Giants because I think they
Yeah.
still play them like another time as well. So it ain't
hmm
really got to be all about the Cowboys beating the
They
Eagles.
have.
Like they
You
can
got to
get some
realize, yeah,
losses from
they
other
got 3
division
games.
opponents too. So
Yeah,
we're in a good
they're
spot.
three.
If
They're
we're going to beat the
3-0.
Commanders, we're going to beat the Giants. Can the Eagles do it? Because the Commanders are, for some strange reason, a great matchup for the Eagles. Like they give them a great game every single time. And I think I
Remember
was,
this year?
yeah,
Yeah.
I was watching it when they was playing it, and I was telling my friends like, "Yo, the Eagles and the Commanders are playing." It's like, "Yo, the Commanders are whooping the Eagles." I was like, "Yeah, but the Commanders are blow it in the fourth quarter, and they give them the game, and that's exactly what they did. Gave them the game in the fourth quarter." So I'm like, "Bro."
hmm
But I think we're in a good
And
spot. The Cowboys are in
yeah,
a good spot. Trust me.
we're good. We're good, Cowboy
Trust
Nation.
me.
And listen, I know, Cowboy Nation, you guys thought we are going to come on here. We're going to be sad. We're not sad. I'm in a
Yeah.
good mood. Rich is in a good mood. I still feel very confident. The game actually gave me more confidence.
Right.
So I'm happy. We had to talk about it.
Yeah.
And it's
You,
G Men
you see
week.
behind me, the TV's intact. I ain't throw nothing at the TV. Like everything is still good. I'm like I said in the beginning. I'm not mad. I'm not frustrated. I'm not sad. Like I'm impressed. I was impressed by the way the Cowboys played. Like they didn't get blown out. They didn't really like do any crazy. They didn't give the media any type of bulletin board material for that Monday. All the media could say was the Cowboys played good. They made a few mistakes here and there, like on that last drive, but it was a very winnable game. Like the media should probably be questioning the Eagles because
Mm,
all year long they say, "Oh, the Cowboys can't compete. They can't hang with the top teams." We did, and we should have won that game. The Eagles should have lost, and the Eagles to me has been kind of like sliding by all year long. Like, if you've been watching their games, like they barely got past the Patriots, they barely got past a few other teams, and the Cowboys just let them off the hook. And if you really look at it, that's just what the Cowboys do. They let a lot of people off the hook. So shouldn't be too
exactly.
surprised. But I was impressed by the way Dak Prescott played. So if he plays like that, and it's kind of been building up over the last couple of weeks where he hasn't really been throwing interceptions. He's been playing a little bit better. So I guess we shouldn't be too shocked. So now we just need to wonder is how long it's going to continue. And we hope that it doesn't like just come crashing down and he had like a full interception type game.
Yep. I'm happy. Like I said, I have no more other words to say. I'm just happy. I just want to go to next week. Let's beat the G-Men.
Yeah.
I think Thursday night football is, when people watch this, about a day or two. I mean, let's go next week. Week on
We good.
next week.
And like
Let's roll.
where can you watch a podcast where two Cowboy fans are not mad about losing to the Eagles?
Not mad. Not mad at all. I'm actually more. I'm happy.
Right.
I'm like,
They
I'm
showed
not even
promise,
mad about his
right? They
loss.
showed a lot of promise. They showed heart, man. And that's all that we can ask for is that go out and compete, put yourself in position to win, play great football, and don't get bullied. And they didn't do that. So I'm happy. I'm happy about that.
Well, I appreciate it.
Yeah, so here we go. Let's wrap up episode number 6 on the Silver and Blue Huddle, man. We really appreciate everybody tuning in. If you haven't already, subscribe to the YouTube. You can listen to the podcast on your favorite streaming platforms, Spotify, Google, Apple, like wherever you listen to podcasts, you can find the Silver and Blue Huddle. We appreciate you guys. Big game coming up this week, kind of, sort of, I guess. We ain't going to take it for granted, but Giants, Cowboys, another rivalry game, division game. Hopefully we come up on top. Win or lose, we'll be back here next week on the Silver and Blue Huddle, regardless. So, any closing words you got? So amazing before we get out of here.
Man, peace out, Cowboy Nation. Appreciate it again, all the love. Keep following, subscribing to us, man. We're gonna keep getting better and better, and next week we're gonna add in another wrinkle. So
yes. Stay tuned for. We don't know what we're going to call it, but we're gonna have like a mailbag to where you're going to be able to ask a question and we will answer it here live on stream. We'll clip it for you on IG and Facebook, and we'll get your answer out there. So think of something you can ask. I know you guys are going to be like, why do you think the Cowboys are going to the Super Bowl? Well, damn it, because we are. Damn it. Okay. There's your answer for that question. So don't ask that question. So we out, man. Silver and Blue Huddle. We'll catch you guys next week. All right. Peace out, everybody.